Hello everyone. Today I'm going to explain 10 countries Americans now require a visa to visit. So let's get started. There was a time when traveling with a US passport felt like holding a golden ticket. No extra paperwork, no interviews, just book your flight and enjoy the ride. But in recent years, that privilege has started to fade. More and more countries are putting new visa rules in place for Americans. It's not just about security or paperwork. These changes are rooted in fairness, politics, and a shift in how countries view US travelers. In this documentary, we'll look at 10 countries that used to allow Americans to enter without a visa, but no longer do. We'll explore the reasons behind each change, from diplomatic disagreements to tourist behavior. Let's dive in. Country 10, Brazil. Brazil once welcomed Americans with open arms. You could fly in, head straight to the beach, and explore cities like Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo. No visa needed. But in 2024, that changed. Brazil reinstated visa requirements for US citizens. Why? The key reason is reciprocity. For years, Brazilians needed visas to visit the US, often dealing with long interviews and high fees. Meanwhile, Americans had it easy. Many Brazilians felt this was unfair. There were also complaints about some American tourists acting disrespectfully, ignoring local customs, leaving trash behind, and showing entitlement. Now, Americans must apply in advance, share financial and travel details, and may even be called for an interview. It's a country famous for its vibrant cities, stunning natural beauty, and rich cultural charm. For years, visiting Argentina was pretty straightforward for Americans. But in 2025, all that changed. Now, Americans actually need a visa to enter. So, what happened? Well, the official reason given is security. But honestly, a lot of folks see it as a reaction to how Americans treated Argentina like a cheap vacation spot. There were digital nomads who stayed too long, dodged taxes, or even broke local laws. It started with a reciprocity fee, then came stricter checks at the border, and now there's a full visa requirement. Even though tourism has slowed down, Argentina isn't backing down. They're basically saying, why should we make it easy for Americans when it's so tough for our citizens to visit the United States? Moving on to Turkey, which is country number 8 on our list. Turkey used to make it really easy. Americans could just grab an e-visa online or even get one at the airport. But in 2024, things shifted. Turkey rolled out new visa rules for Americans. Turkish citizens face tough interviews and honestly, pretty high rejection rates when applying for US visas. Turkish leaders say it's about respect. They're just tired of being treated unfairly. Now Americans must go through a full visa process before traveling, which includes sharing personal details, financial information, and waiting longer for approval. Turkey is still open for tourism, but it wants to be seen as an equal, not just a photo stop. Country 7, Thailand. Thailand, with its famous beaches and temples, has always attracted US tourists. Before 2024, Americans could stay for 30 days without a visa. But, many took advantage, leaving and returning just to reset their stay. The clampdown. Thai officials got fed up with foreigners abusing the system, including some who ignored local rules or pushed up housing prices. Now, Americans must apply for a tourist visa in advance, show proof of accommodation, finances, and even provide personal data like fingerprints. Thailand still welcomes visitors, but only those who play by the rules. Country 6, South Africa. South Africa used to offer visa-free access to Americans. That ended in 2025. Why the change? While the official reason is improved security, the deeper issue is political tension between the US and South Africa. Disagreements on global issues have cooled their relationship. Now, Americans must go through background checks, show financial support, and submit biometric data. South Africa's new message: we value visitors, but respect must go both ways. Country 5, Indonesia. Indonesia, especially Bali, has long been a favorite for Americans. In 2024, Indonesia passed the Tourism Fairness Act. As a result, Americans now need a visa. So what prompted this change? Well, honestly, there were just too many tourists, including a lot of Americans who were overstaying, working illegally, or, just not respecting local customs. Now, to apply for a visa, you have to submit your full travel plans, provide financial proof, and even agree to an ethics clause. Even your social media activity can be reviewed. Indonesia isn't against tourism, it just wants better, more respectful tourists. Country number 4 is Morocco. Morocco once allowed Americans in without a visa, but that all changed in 2025 with a new law called the National Sovereignty and Border Regulation Act. The reason behind this? Well, Moroccan leaders say the United States just doesn't share enough traveler data, which makes it pretty tough to track visitors. Locals in cities like Marrakesh also complained about how tourism was changing their neighborhoods, raising rents and overcrowding public spaces. So now, Americans need to apply early and clearly explain their travel plans. Morocco's new stance is that tourism should be intentional and respectful, not just convenience travel. Country 3, Malaysia. Malaysia shocked many when it changed its visa policy in 2025. Visa-free travel for Americans was canceled. Why? Well, it comes down to fairness. Malaysians face hard visa rules when visiting the United States, and honestly, many get turned away even with valid documents. Now, Americans must pass background checks, show proof of finances, and possibly go through interviews. Malaysia says the drop in tourism is worth it, if it means standing up for equal treatment. Country 2, Kenya. Kenya, known for its safaris and landscapes, removed visa-free access for Americans in early 2025. So what's behind it? Well, this was actually part of a larger African Union push for reciprocity. You see, African travelers often face long wait times and high rejection rates when trying to visit the West. So Kenya decided it was time to push back. Now, Americans must apply online, share their travel details, pass background checks, and stay no longer than 30 days, with no extensions. Their message is pretty clear: no more double standards. The United Arab Emirates, home to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, made a really bold move in 2025. They removed Americans from their visa-free list. Why? Though the country thrives on tourism and business travel, UAE leaders said the change was due to lack of fair treatment. While Americans entered easily, UAE citizens often struggled for United States visas. Security concerns were also part of the reasoning. Now, Americans face a longer process and possible visa denials. Tourists and business travelers are frustrated, but the UAE is standing firm. Their message is loud and clear: treat us with the same respect. These changes aren't about shutting out tourists. They're about balance, respect, and fairness. For decades, Americans have traveled freely while others faced strict entry rules. Now, many countries are saying, if you want in, follow the same rules we do. If you're planning a trip, make sure to check visa requirements carefully. Travel is still possible. It just might take a little more planning now. And maybe in the long run, this push for equality will make global travel fairer for everyone. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe for more travel updates. Safe travels. Thank you.